have a special treat for you today. This is Sara Plummer, and she's with the Herb Society. Sara, give me a little background history about this garden.
Well, the Herb Society of Nashville, which was founded in 1973, decided in 1976 that they wanted to have a public garden where anybody could come and enjoy the herbs. And we contacted the Metro Parks Board and picked out the Fine Arts Center that had originally had a pool, and we took the children's into the pool and made a garden. Juanita Strickert had a contest, and this is how we decided what it was going to look like. Later years, we had commissioned Holly Shimizu from Washington, D.C. to come in and redesign it. And what you're seeing now is pretty much what Holly Shimizu decided we should put in it.
And it's still free to the public to come visit?
Absolutely. From about 8 in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, behind the Art Center.
Well, thanks, Sara. I can't wait because we had a light rain last night and this morning, and the aroma coming off the herbs is just wonderful. Can't wait to get in there.
Enjoy.
Thank you. I'm with Rhonda and Jane, the two co-chairs from the Herb Society. Tell me about what we're standing in right here.
Right here we are standing in the thyme tapestry. It's one of my favorite parts because it's just so fragrant, and we have so many different blooms. We have the red creeping thyme, we have the silver frost thyme. There are like so many different varieties, and for me, what I do to come in and to maintain the long blooming season that you can do with thyme, I think most people probably don't know. Get a pair of scissors, and just like you would deadhead, come in and deadhead the thyme blooms, cut them down, and it'll maintain a continuous long-lasting bloom.
And Jane, I want you to tell us a little bit about the plant in front of us. It's one of my favorite things.
Absolutely. I'm also a chef, so this is something I use in my cooking as well. Bloody dock is in the sorrel family, and which would be considered a bitter green. And it's very good, like in a chiffonade. You can use it raw in a salad. You can also use it fried. Actually works like flash fried. Few people do that, but it's wonderful as well, just wilted into a soup or something like that.
Not to mention garnish.
It's a great garnish. This is a perennial chamomile, and this is the type you'd use for tea. The actual flowers dried are what the tea is made from. This is a very prolific type of plant, especially in our garden. It likes to jump, and sometimes we find it in various places here. And then we just kind of move the little seedlings back to their spot. But it tends to stay somewhat green over winter, even this winter.
Rhonda, tell me what variety this lavender is. You were saying that it's one of your favorites.
Oh, it is. It's silver frost lavender, and it's very drought tolerant, and when our temperatures got down to 0 degrees, this plant was a survivor. So I absolutely love this. I'll come in and I'll deadhead to continue these blooms as well, but I just love the color of the plant and with the most beautiful fragrant blooms.
And Jane, your prostate rosemary here is performing for us today.
It is performing. It's blooming, which is very nice. We lost our 20-year-old huge rosemary this year, as did so many people around this area. And these have come back that we've planted in April this year, and they're blooming and seem to be thriving in their new spots.
We have a nice clump of, well, several clumps of pineapple sage.
Yes.
I think that's a very underused herb.
It'll have the most vibrant red blooms. It'll be saying, like, it's my show now.
And the hummingbirds love it.
Oh, yes.
And
it's absolutely beautiful.
And Jane, tell us what you would cook with this.
There are many things. It's actually an excellent tea. And you can brew it down. It's best using the fresh leaves, because when you dry the pineapple sage variety, it gets pretty bland and it loses a lot of its flavor. Also, the flowers, of course, edible, so they're very pretty to put in a salad.
And again, garnish because it smells
so
so
great
wonderful.
Garnish,
yeah,
exactly.
You have some interesting plants as we walk this way. Tell me about the Baptisia.
Okay, the Baptisia, it's a false indigo, and it used to be considered one of the #1 cash crops because people used it as a dye, and the seed pods are in form now, but once it blooms, it's a beautiful, vibrant blue bloom.
And then we have our native coneflower.
Yes, these are actually the real native home flowers. There are so many different varieties, but these are truly native.
And one of my favorites is the bronze fennel.
Bronze fennel is one of my favorites as well. Most people consider it purely an ornamental. I actually think it's fantastic, the fronding to use in soups and salads. It's very versatile and actually has a little bit more flavor than the fronds on the regular fennel. It doesn't grow a root bulb like your more common green fennel as you think about shaving it, so you just use the top parts.
And the cardoon?
The cardoon is a fascinating plant. It's actually in the artichoke family, as is the thistle. And when this grows, by fall, it'll be 6 to 7 feet tall with about 4-inch huge thistle-like pods on top, and it's just spectacular. And they'll have 4 or 5 spires per plant. And we grow that from the previous spires. Once we dry them out, the seed heads, we plant them for the next year.
And then the red Reuben basil?
The red Reuben basil is great. It's a very mild basil. It's attractive to use in culinary. It doesn't like a tremendous amount of water, and we've had so much rain lately, it's actually stressing just a little bit.
One of my favorites for herb vinegars.
It's very good for herb vinegar, and it's also really great if you do a drunken pasta and use the red wine and you soak your pasta in it and then toss that, because the red Reuben especially, you get that little bit of green and purple, and it's a very attractive one to kind of toss in there with the puttanesca sauce or however
And
you're doing
before
it.
we move, what's right at our feet?
Right at our feet is germander, and this is also a very ancient herb, and it has been used culinarily. It's a little bit bitter, but it's kind of like a thyme, a super aggressive thyme. Most people used it in medicinal herbs, and you see it often in teas.
And they make knot gardens out of this as well.
Knot gardens are beautiful. When this all grows back in, this is also an area, it used to all be grown together. We lost some of this over our very vicious winter this year. So, but when it comes back together, it makes a beautiful, and you can shape it, and it's a lovely.
Beautiful hedge.
All right, well, let's move on. The tree is witch hazel, and most people think about witch hazel as coming in a bottle as an astringent. Tell me about this tree.
The most spectacular time for the witch hazel tree is in the winter months, when it's blooming the most beautiful, vibrant yellow blooms, when nothing else is blooming, and you walk outside and all of a sudden you're surprised.
Very
The witch hazel's
underused tree for around
blooming.
here, yes.
Yes, and it's really special to have.
And then in front of it we have the artemesia.
Artemesia is commonly also known as wormwood. There's several varietals.
And the artemesia, the silver king and silver queen, are used a lot in crafting when they dry it for wreaths and all kinds of fun stuff.
Absolutely. In the anisette family, you have hyssop, augustifolia, and your fennel is also considered part of that. They can all be used culinarily. You don't see the augustifolia as much, but again, it has edible flowers, and it's very good in a tea when brewed down. And also, augustifolia and hyssop are both very good plants to put. Aphids despise them. So if you have roses or grapevines, they're an excellent companion plant to try and prevent some pesky insects.
And they're also great for the beneficial insects as well.
That's absolutely true.
That's good to know. Well, we got just a little bit more in this jam-packed small garden. It's great. I see we have some lemon verbena. Who wants to tell us about that?
I will.
Well, you go ahead then. Don't forget sorbet.
I love lemon verbena. It has to me, it's the most lemon-like smell of any plant that I know. And I love to make like a lemon verbena simple syrup with mint, pour it over ice. It's delicious.
And then we move on to the lemongrass.
The lemongrass is wonderful to use too. You can use it in both a sweet or a savory component. I've made some very delicious ice creams and sorbets from it, as with the lemon verbena. But also you see it in Thai and Asian food quite often, and you take the lower stem part and for soups, and you can infuse a lot of flavor from that.
And then there's garlic chives.
The garlic chives are lovely. They have a beautiful bloom too, so it's a very attractive plant in your garden. And these
and once you got it,
you
got
have it forever. And so you don't have to worry about replanting. It will reseed itself, and you can cut these all winter long.
And they're also great to plant around your rose bushes.
Again, a
deter
great
the-
repellent of our negative insects.
And then in the front there we have some yarrow.
Yes, the yarrow, It's a beautiful plant, long blooming, can live in the drought conditions, and you can dry it in arrangements.
And we have two types of Santolina here.
Yes, we have the green Santolina, which performs beautifully, a beautiful bloom. And then we have the gray Santolina, and both of these can be used. You cut and dry and can hang them in your closets to deter moths.
And then right in front of that green Santolina with the pretty little pom-poms, there's a sweet little oregano that's perked up today for us.
Okay, that's the Kent Beauty oregano. It's one that you really don't see. I mean, until we worked in this herb garden, I'd never seen it before. But I absolutely love it. It's just the most beautiful blooms.
Well, I got to mention, Rhonda did something very sweet for this herb garden and for the Herb Society. She came up with a little flyer that I'm holding here, and she actually delivers it to the hospitals in the area. We're kind of hospital central zone right here.
Yes, this is a secret garden that we do not want to be a secret. We want people to come and experience everything that we have here.
Well, gals, thank you so much for sharing with us, and I'm thinking that a lot more people will take a little stroll through here and enjoy it.
That would be welcome.
Oh,
Thanks for sharing
yes.
today.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.